Hello one and all, this is Nerdcraft here bringing you a matchup on Typhoon Peaks against who? Against One Cruncher and vileSpanshwa. One Cruncher here spawning as the red Protoss in the upper left hand corner of Typhoon Peaks, and his opponent, vileSpanshwa, spawning as the blue Zerg in the bottom right hand corner. Now, vileSpanshwa, these guys are both really high level players. One Cruncher actually ranked 13 Grandmasters, so he's in the top 25 Grandmasters in North American region, and vileSpanshwa is ranked 130 Grandmasters, so these are both really high level players, expecting really a high level game here. But the thing about vileSpanshwa is that he has a very unique play style, and that is from the research I did on him and the games I saw him in. He goes for Mass Queen and Ultralisks with Nidus Worms. So hoping to see some of that around. I don't know if he'll do it in this game. I sure hope so, because I've only really seen it used against Terran and Zerg and not against a Protoss player, especially one as good as Cruncher. So hope to see that. Both are just droning up. Cruncher sending out a scout a little earlier. A lot earlier, I'd say. A little earlier than Spanishwa. There goes Spanishwa's scout right there. And Gateway actually coming up for Cruncher here, gonna be walling off as always. And look at this, 14 hatch, no 12 hatch for vileSpanshwa. This is part of his style. He just goes really fast expansion, so he can get those minerals and hive tech up really fast. And Cruncher is gonna scout this. He's gonna be like, what? Probably not expecting a 12 hatch, but there is no spawning pool, so keep that in mind. Spanishwa does not have any defense, and Cruncher does know that with his gateway nearly complete. Just about 10 seconds to complete on that gateway, so we could see some very early harassment from Cruncher here. And 16-18 right now supplies. Cruncher being supply blocked. Actually, Cybernetics Core is on its way, so he's definitely not going to be 2-gating, which I really don't like that strategy in my opinion. But I have actually never seen much high-level players do it. Although I did see, Spawning Pool is coming up for Spanishwa, so he's going to start getting out those Zerglings just for defense. But I have, however, seen a very interesting build. I watched the NASL, the first day of it, and TLO's final game. I mean, seven barracks rush on Crossfire. You don't see that at all. So looks like Cruncher just trying to keep the harass up. Trying to play inside Spanishwa's head here, is making it look like he's trying to set up a proxy here. That's always a good strategy as Protoss, because they can just drop down and get out in a spine crawler on its way for Spanishwa. He does invest heavily in Zerg defense. 2 queens and 2 Zerglings coming out. Spanishwa is just going to see what Cruncher is doing here, and everything's really standard right now for Cruncher. I haven't really been talking much about Cruncher's play right now because it's all really standard. And that drone is going to die. It definitely did not have a good day. Oh wait, maybe it will live. It will live for a very smaller amount of time, and looks like actually Spanishwa is going to push, or Cruncher is going to push, but no, he is not. Warp Tech is, I don't know the math for that, but it's on its way. About 2/3 done, I'd say. Cruncher is not chronoing out, and looks like Cruncher's going for a 4-gate with 2 gas, so he is not doing an all-in, but he's definitely probably going to expand here pretty soon, I would expect, when he gets the money. Looks like this Stalker's just going to grab that Zelnaga Watchtower, and these Zerglings are just going to try and run by, see what they can find, except for his comrade. That Zergling is now scarred for life because he saw his comrade die in battle. Spine crawlers are down, and there's 2 queens, so Spanishwa does have defense, which is always really crazy, I think, in my opinion, about his builds. I always get really weirded out by the oddity of his builds. Oddity, that sounded funny. 3rd queen actually just finished too, and looks like these gates are finishing. We might be seeing some really early pressure here. Warp Tech has finished, but he's not. Cruncher is not morphing them yet. Probably concentrated on the Stalker here, trying to do as much harass. There is the proxy pylon. This Stalker is here to spot. Looks like we could be seeing a very early game, which is actually really disappointing if that does happen. I hope it doesn't. And Pylon just finishing. Gonna warp in. what is that? Zealots. And suddenly vileSpanshwa finds himself in a bit of a bind. Income here is going down for vileSpanshwa because those drones are not mining. Luckily there are Zerglings and a lot of queens, but he has to take out this pylon here. It looks like I don't want to call it game, but this is not looking good for vileSpanshwa at all right now. The spine crawlers, by the time they're done, it's going to be out of position, and Crunchers actually might go for that expansion. A lot of Zerglings coming up, 18 Zerglings coming up, and this has to be frustrating for vileSpanshwa. Just Zealots and Stalkers sitting in his base, and these spine crawlers are going to uproot, and those Stalkers are actually going to defend the pylon. Almost took it out there, but unfortunately not. And look at these queens here. I think I've been seeing Transfuse being used. I'm not quite sure here, but yes, Transfuse is being used on the queens by their queens, so they do look out for each other. They're buds like that. Spine Collar is going to take out that Zealot, which I think would be a horrible way to die, just being poked to death in the eye or something. And that is the end of that Zealot. A lot of Stalkers here. How much Stalkers is that? 9 Stalkers being warped in. This is really early pressure. But vileSpanshwa is holding it off, which is the amazing part. Transfuse again being used on those queens. He is prolonging the life of his queen so long by using Transfuse. And because the Zerg regeneration ability isn't exactly all that long. But vileSpanshwa does have to take out these pylons. There are 2 pylons now for Cruncher. And if we look, Cruncher is macroing. He is getting an expansion here. But he still has those 9 Stalkers sitting right outside vileSpanshwa's base. And another Transfuse being used on that Spine Crawler there. And army value, Cruncher's dominating. Kill value, again, Cruncher's dominating all over. And looks like that Stalker's going to be caught out of position. I don't know if they'll survive. Zealot's warping in to save it. Yes, looks like the Stalker is taken out, and at the same time trying to push with these Stalkers. This is what's amazing about Crunchers, how he's been able to hold a 2-prong attack here really well. Surprised all those Zealots are gone, actually. But yeah, metabolic boost has not been researched, so Zerglings don't attack as fast as they can. And if we look actually with Harvesters, they're about even. vileSpanshwa only has 28 Harvesters, and Cruncher has 30. Well, they're both up at 30 now. So income is actually pretty solid for both of them. vileSpanshwa, however, is investing more in gas than Cruncher. I don't know if that will affect him or not. But those Zerglings are actually really slow, and those Queens are really slow without creeps as well. And Dark Shrine is actually on its way. Where is that dark? There's the Dark Shrine. We are going to be seeing some really harsh pressure here. Layer is also on its way. I didn't think it would be that one. That's kind of interesting, I think. And if we just look at vileSpanshwa has not been able to scout much. All he sees is from the beginning of that. And so he doesn't know there's a Twilight Council or 3 gates or a Dark Shrine on its way. Hopefully this Overlord can get there, can get some information, but it looks like it's not going to. All he knows is that there is, oh, there's the Dark Shrines coming in actually, and looks like vileSpanshwa's economy is going to go down. And actually a 3rd hatchery there. Wow, I did not notice that. He needs to get some Overlords out. He does have layers, so he can do it. There are Overseers, actually, sorry. 3 Overseers being morphed in. It looks like this hatchery is going to be taken out, though, before he can. I don't know if Cruncher is going to push. No, he's not going to push with those Stalkers. He's just going to leave him. And those Dark Templar. Transfuse being used on the hatchery. What a smart move by vileSpanshwa. He's really good at this. Baneling Nest just finished in double Evo Chambers. And there is the first Nidus network coming up. So vileSpanshwa has actually been able to defend and keep true to his build, but I don't know why he's not bringing an Overseer over here. His Zerglings are dying. There we go. Those Dark Templars are going to be brought out. I don't see any more being warped in, but robotics facility coming up for Cruncher. We might see some Colossus here. And where was it? I saw it. Where was that Nidus network? There is the Nidus network that vileSpanshwa is so famous for. And you know, he's not really well known yet, but he is going to be well known. He is like the TLO of Zerg, just crazy build. And Infestation Pit, looks like he is going to go for those Ultralisks as soon as possible. Keep in mind, it's only 14 minutes into the game. Robotics Facility, or Robotics Bay, is coming up for one Cruncher, so he is going to try to get Colossus out. This Overseer is just going to try and scout some information here. And I'm surprised SpanshWa has not expanded yet, because he usually would have expanded by now, but with that pressure, and surprised he actually isn't taking out that pylon either. So both are playing exceptionally well. Cruncher with that really well played early harassment, and SpanshWa defending it really well. I mean, if I saw that, I definitely would have GG'd, but I am a lesser player than these two. So let's check out the units count here. We have 5 DTs and 12 Stalkers against 10 Queens. That's ridiculous. And 19 Zerglings. So Cruncher could probably very well do some damage. I hear a Nidus Worm being made somewhere. Where is it? Where is that Nidus Worm? There it is. Oh, right there in the blind spot of Cruncher's base. And a second one coming up. There's no Ultralisk out, which is surprising. Infestors instead coming out for SpanshWa. And he's going to take out those gateways that pissed him off. And now we're down to 3 gates and 2 gates for Cruncher. I love Nidus Worms, how they look. They just look really silly to me, like just their face, the way their face looks. But 2 Nidus Worms being used. He actually put down creep tuners too with the Queen, so there's going to be a nice creep there within Cruncher's base. And I don't know if Cruncher notices this or not, but he has a lot of DTs, some good handful of Stalkers, and Colossus. There's also Neural Parasite is being researched by SpanshWa, and looks like here's the engagement here. I don't know that there are no Overseers, so these DTs are going to do some massive damage. There comes the Overseers. There goes the DTs pretty soon, I would imagine. Fungal Growth being used on that Colossus very effectively. All the shields are down to about halfway health. These Stalkers are having to get out, and actually in Burrow Infestors, I did not see Burrow being researched, but all these Queens are down. His unit count definitely went down. Actually, no, he only lost 1 Queen, and air pressure coming out for Cruncher. He has a Void Ray being built, but with this amount of Queens and with Infestors as well, who can get Infested Terran out really easily. I don't know if Void Rays will be really the solution here. I don't know what to say for Cruncher. Looks like he's in a very bad position. Extended Thermal Lance is on its way. This is just crazy build. A 3rd expansion coming up for SpanshWa. So this is just crazy beyond all sorts of measures. I'm surprised there's no Overlords over here actually pumping out creep. But this queen must have some personal grievances towards the Dark Shrine, like it killed her sister or something, because she wanted to make sure that was gone. And another Colossus has just been warped in. 2 Colossus and a Void Ray, but Neural Parasite has been used, and they are going to go down without even taking one thing out. That's crazy. All he has is a Void Ray, and those Queens are going to make quick work of that. Neural Parasite again against the Void Ray, going to take out, going to just come in here into the Queens. This is ridiculous. I was expecting something strange from SpanshWa, but this is beyond belief. And there's the GG from Cruncher. That would be one of the craziest games I've ever seen. I hope you enjoyed that as much as I have. This is Nerdcraft signing off.